Hey, what's up, folks? Welcome back to On Texas Football. I'm lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers. Pleased to be joined by my good friend and esteemed colleague, Jeff Howe, and also joined by the estimable Gerry Hamilton, the man himself. We'll get into a topic I know a lot of Longhorn fans are interested in right now. The news broke that Jordan Seaton, the offensive tackle from Colorado, former five-star prospect, second-year player, is hitting the transfer portal, is official. There were reports about him possibly entering the transfer portal, but now it has become official, and a lot of Longhorn fans want to know how interested will the Longhorns be in this acquisition. We'll talk about it and talk about him as a player. First, Gerry, I want to get the background profile on the young man. I'm sure that you followed his recruitment a little bit. Talk about him as a player coming out of high school and the type of prospect that he was.
Yeah, I mean, look, he was originally from Washington, D.C. area. He was at St. John's Prep. Then he moved down to IMG, both Under Armour schools, right? And there was some thought early on that he'd end up at Maryland. That didn't happen. But obviously ended up at Colorado, made official visits to Colorado, Alabama, Florida, Tennessee, Ohio State. Everybody in America wanted this guy, and he ended up going to Deion Sanders. But as a player, I mean, there's some favorable comparisons to Laramie Tunsil for him. And I'm not saying everybody is exactly the same as a prospect, but seeing Seaton in high school, seeing Laramie Tunsil, there are some comparisons there. I think Jordan Seaton as an NFL prospect, and I think he should be the highest rated guy in the portal outside of the quarterbacks. And I think as an NFL prospect, this guy is dang near a lock to be a top 10 pick, and it's possible he could be a top 5 pick. I think he's that level guy as a run blocker, in pass pro, in his football intelligence. He has learned a lot over the years from George Hegeman, who's now at Colorado, that was at IMG Academy, and has worked with Seaton, known Seaton a long time, obviously the former Dallas Cowboys guard. So Jordan Seaton's one of the best prospects in the 2024 class in high school, as a top 15 guy considered. That has been a straight hit in the recruiting rankings. He has been every bit of that and probably even better. And as an NFL prospect, he may be even better than he was as a high school recruit in a lot of ways. He is a tremendous talent and a guy that I can affect the game in run blocking and in pass pro.
Jeff, I know you pay attention to O-line play. I love your takes on the O-line. What are your thoughts about the high end, the upside of Jordan Seaton and the possibility of the Longhorns trying to acquire such a high level offensive tackle?
Yeah, anybody can say what they want about whether it's the Big 12, the SEC, the Big 10, the ACC. If you're a walk-in starter at left tackle at a power conference program, you're pretty legit. And that's what Jordan Seaton was from the day he got to Colorado. He was a starter. I mean, he played more snaps, right, than anybody on offense for Colorado in 2024. And keep in mind, that's a Colorado offense with Shedeur Sanders at quarterback. So Jordan Seaton played more snaps than anybody Colorado had that year. This season, he missed 3 games, had a lower leg injury. I don't know that it was fully disclosed what it was. Missed 3 games. What I like about him though, Rod, is, and again, it's fewer snaps played, 860 and 24 and 25, only 561. He committed 15 penalties or was actually charged with 15, committed 19, was charged with 15 and 24, only 4 this year. So, cut down on the penalties quite a bit. You can tell he's getting better the more experienced he gets. And I'm with Gerry. I mean, if there's a better offensive tackle in the country in 2026, I'd like to see him in terms of an NFL draft. Right, him and Trevor Goosby, honestly, are right there. And you know what? It's interesting going back, and because Texas really wasn't in the mix for him in high school. But you go back and look at, whether you're talking about 24/7 or on 3, you start looking at the consensus recruiting rankings. He was the number 1 offensive tackle in his class. Brandon Baker was number 2. So you look at Texas targeting Jordan Seaton, you can add Jordan Seaton to Brandon Baker and Trevor Goosby. That's about as much NFL talent on the offensive line it would be as Texas has had in one shot. There's still got a long way to go in this thing. But just thinking about it, you can tell why the staff is going to pursue this.
Yeah, love that you talked about, Jeff, the improvement from year 1 to year 2. I mean, guy was a 5-star, so the upside is NFL caliber player, no question about it. But the improvement was phenomenal. You talk about the 15 penalties to what, I mean, 4 penalties, something like that. Or I think it was 19, you said, to 4 penalties from year to year. 30 pressures allowed in 2024 too. In pass pro, and he was actually was a true freshman that ended up walking in as a starter for them, as you pointed out. But this year, 7 pressures allowed, and most of those came late in the season after I believe the injury started to really limit him as a player. Like those the last 2 games he ended up playing, I think he allowed 6 of those pressures, and I think of those penalties, 3 of those penalties I believe came late in the season too. When he was hampered by that injury. So his leap and his rate of development from year 1 to year 2 was phenomenal. And there was a stretch basically where he was basically the best left tackle in the Big 12, arguably. There was a stretch from at U of H is kind of where it started. I think that was maybe a 3rd game for them, somewhere around there. It was U of H and Wyoming, BYU, TCU, and Iowa State, where he allowed 0 pressures and had 0 penalties. He was playing his best football. I mean, the light had gone off. Go look at his PFF pass blocking grades. I mean, they're all in the 80s and the 90s in those games. Then I think maybe the injury or something like that took over. I didn't get a chance to watch all those games, but he really started to hit his stride, which tells you I think the light went off for him. I think he's an elite pass blocker, run blocker. I think he has the potential to be an elite run blocker too. I don't think he's there just yet, but as a pass blocker, I mean, he's one of the best in the country. Like, there's no doubt about it. That will translate no matter what conference you're in. Talking about the Big 12 to the SEC, he's elite in that aspect of his game, no question. Okay, the teams that are going to be interested in this blockbuster recruitment, heavy hitters, guys.
Yes.
Just the reports, rumors for now, rumors and reports, things that have been thrown out there. Michael Irvin actually tweeted out something on social media, which I believe he retweeted. In regards to trying to woo him to Miami. The LSU fans have been they've been talking and chirping a lot about LSU potentially being interested in this recruitment. Texas fans, of course, we're talking about it. Oregon is another name that's been mentioned more than a few times with Jordan Seaton. I think Ohio State's another thing, but I think it'll come down to all the top schools pretty much, Jerry, and who's got the best sales pitch for the young man. Everybody's going to get close to the number. The number is the number these days. Yeah. But who's got the best sales pitch for him? Because that's what this young man's about. He's going to the NFL. This is a one and done, correct? Because he's already your players are one and done for you.
Yeah. And again, Texas, Miami, Oregon. That doesn't mean it'll be the only 3. Those 3 are mentioned the most. I mean, there's been a little bit of LSU chatter. That's not who I'd bet on right now. And I think a big part of this recruitment, like you said, Rob, people are going to hit the number close to the number from an NIL perspective. What does he truly want to play? Is this a left tackle recruitment, which makes it more difficult for Texas, or is he open to left or right tackle?
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, if there's a negative, anytime a tackle in this portal window has looked at Texas, Zalance Hurd, who ended up Kentucky, who's a really talented, will be a draft pick next year after a year at Kentucky. He looked at Texas and said, I only want to play left tackle. So, and that was through his agent's conversations with Texas. So we haven't heard that is absolutely the case here. So that if there's something that could derail Texas, it won't be NIL. Mm-hmm. It would be guaranteed to be a left tackle. And so we'll see where that goes with this one. But again, he's as coveted, including some quarterbacks, but not all quarterbacks. He's as coveted as anybody in this portal window. That's how that talented he is to college coaches. And there have been a number of NFL scouts that are saying top 10 pick, maybe top 5. That means that's a franchise tackle. You're going to be coveted by everybody that can get into that NIL sandbox and go after him.
Jeff, what is the Texas sales pitch in your opinion to tackle the caliber of this young man? I mean, we know that with the Cam Coleman recruitment, it was money was not the deciding factor in that, and it may not be the final deciding factor here either. It'll be multifactorial. But what's the sales pitch for Texas to bring him in to help him rebuild this O-line?
I think it's that you could be a part of what I think at that point would be unquestionably the most talented offense in the country in 2026. I mean, find me on paper a better offense than if you had an offensive line with Trevor Gooseby and Jordan Seaton, with Cam Coleman, Ryan Wingo, and Emmett Mosley at wide receiver, Hollywood Smothers and Raleek Brown in the backfield, with whatever role Derek Cooper's going to play. Oh, and by the way, you've got a guy who has legitimate number 1 overall pick potential at quarterback in Arch Manning. I think that's it. I think the sales pitch is him being the missing piece. And to Jerry's point about the left tackle conversation, I mean, it's got to be a pretty special prospect for Texas to go in and recruit a tackle. That's what was interesting and kind of hurt about the whole Andrew Sprague thing, is Andrew Sprague was a right tackle.
Yes, exactly.
That would have been an easy kick down. Hey, move Brandon Baker inside for a year, then he moves back out to tackle, whether it's left or right. It was a temporary thing, but Sprague really fit. I don't know what the sales pitch is in terms of, like Jerry said, it's all going to come down to, is his heart set on playing left tackle? If that's the case, it's going to be really tough for Kyle Flood and Sark to sell that. But if you can just sell him on, hey, come be a part of the special offense, you're going to be a top 10, top 5 pick regardless, whether you're left tackle, right tackle, it doesn't matter. Like, you're going to be a pretty special player. And actually, you might actually make yourself more valuable if you prove you can play right tackle to show that you've got some flexibility. I think that's one of the things that makes Trevor Gooseby an attractive NFL prospect, quite frankly, is his ability. He's shown it at this level. He can play left tackle and right tackle. But again, I'll just reiterate, it shows, it's an example of how special this kid is, that Texas has an All-American caliber, top 15 caliber draft pick in Trevor Gooseby at left tackle, and you're still going to go try to see what you can do to get this Jordan Seaton recruitment. I just think it says a lot about his talent level and what the staff thinks of him.
Yeah, totally agree. Also, and maybe I like that last part you talked about. Maybe the sales pitch is, and maybe the pitch is to Gooseby instead of to Seaton, that, hey, you know what? You just need to show the league that when you walk into those NFL meetings that you have, pre-draft meetings, you can say, man, I can play right and left tackle. What y'all need? Now, y'all need a tackle. I can play either. I can be a franchise right, switch over to the left when you need me. I can back up your franchise left and take over in 5 years, or I can be right. It don't matter. So maybe that is part of the sales pitch and what makes it cool. But I will say this: it is definitely an indicator of how aggressive Texas is going to be if they're going after Seaton. Because you have not. I mean, you would be essentially having an offense where you would have the potential to have 4 first-round draft picks in that 27 draft. Like, you'd have, if you get Seaton, Gooseby, Arch, Coleman, and then who else would? I mean, didn't that Alabama offense that Sark had in 2020? They had 5 first-round picks, right?
So.
Come off that offense. You'd be dangerously close. If Wingo can make some magic happen to some, who knows? But that's really interesting. All right, good stuff, guys. Obviously, if anything breaks of interest related to this story, keep it tuned here to On Texas Football. Also, you want to keep it tuned here anyway, and you get a great deal to do it right now. That's why Matthew's the best in the business. $1, all right, $1 for 1 month of coverage for Portal Madness. And trust me, guys, you need the access to ontexasfootball.com just to keep up with everything that's happening. There is news breaking every other minute. My man Jerry's got great nuggets he's dropping over there. So does Jeff, and my man CJ and Bobby Burton, Blake Monroe, the whole team. And right now you can get it at a discount rate of just $1 for a month, and you can try it out for yourself and find out what the big news is about the transfer portal, and also what everybody's talking about over at ontexasfootball.com. All right, thank you, Matthew. Appreciate it. And that's why Matthew's the best in the business. He's the real MVP. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate all of your knowledge and expertise. Jerry, once again, thank you for all of your great work as well. And thank you to each and every one of you out there for watching and for listening. For Jerry and for Jeff and for Matthew behind the scenes, I'm Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers. Until next time, look 'em horns.